Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia and you are watching My Two Cents. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for supporting me and for watching what I'm basically trying to do here. And if you are new here, welcome. Here is where I talk about manifestation and make it easier for one and all with one video at a time. So, before we get into today's video, let me just remind you to click on the notification bell icon so that you get a reminder from me every time I post a new video or a premiere and stay hooked to the type of content that I am making. So, today I am going to talk about self-concept. Now, before we get into the video, let me give you a little disclaimer. Today I'm going to speak completely in English so that all of you can access the information that I'm going to talk about, because a lot of you have texted me saying that you are not understanding the parts that I'm speaking in Bangla. But I am also thinking about the audiences of my parents and my other people who speak Bangla and understand Bangla more. So yeah, but I'm going to make a compromise for this video and I'm going to make another video related to this topic in Bangla. So this one is going to be completely in English. So yeah, let's just get into the video. Today I'm going to talk about self-concept and why it is so important. What is self-concept? Self-concept is as simple as your concept about yourself. Why is self-concept so important to get a manifestation? It is common sense because your concept about yourself determines your attachment, your perspective around your desires. It is as simple as that. Now, for example, let's take one desire, like maybe love life, romantic love life. Now, if you are someone who identifies as a person who does not deserve love, then guess what? That is your concept about yourself. So if you are someone who watch people in love and you are like, wow, they are so lucky, but I am not so lucky in love, then you are identifying every time as a person who is not lucky in love. That is the concept that you have made about yourself around yourself, and that keeps you away from your desire. Now, first things first, if you can desire something, you can completely have it. This is one myth that I want to bust. So, every time people are like, yeah, especially people who have watched DDLJ so many times, that सपने पूरे होने की उम्मीद मत रखो, right? Guess what? सपने पूरे होने की पूरी उम्मीद रखो, because that is just confidence, and self-concept gets better with confidence. So, if you are someone who constantly identifies as, I'm not deserving of love, I'm not deserving of money, I'm not deserving of a smooth lifestyle, then you are keeping yourself away from your desires. Now, self-concept is important in every little thing. The other day when I posted about my video on my Instagram story, a friend replied and said, can you please make a video on how to appear more confident on camera and speaking in public and all of that. So the person, when he texted me that, he is coming from a place, he's coming from a self-concept where he identifies himself as someone who is not confident on camera. So that is a label that you are attaching to yourself. That is a concept that you are attaching to yourself. And this is why self-concept is very important. Every little thought that you have about yourself, every single assumption that you have about yourself is important. And you think, oh, this is a very normal topic, and why is it associated with manifestation? Because guess what? Every habit in your life, every possession in your life, the reality that you are living in is a manifestation of the thoughts that you have, the belief system that you have, the assumptions that you have, and the concept and perspective that you have of yourself and your surroundings. That is why manifestation is not a buzzword, it is not a trending word on Instagram, it is not a magic process that we are learning. It is not like that. It is a habit, it is a lifestyle, and self-concept is very important in getting you what you want. So, if today you want to come in front of camera and speak confidently, you have to take that first video and appear as someone who is confident. And of course, you will not appear confident on the first take. But after taking one take, second take, third take, fourth take, you will be much more relaxed than you are the first time. And eventually, maybe by the 10th take, you will be like, yeah, I can do this. This is very easy for me, right? It's again the example that I have given in my previous videos. It is like learning a new habit. So, again, coming back to the importance of affirmations in making your self-concept more desirable for your favor, you can repeat positive affirmations and you can do robotic affirmations in your head. And if that is very tiring for you, you can do the positive self-talk to yourself for telepathy, to get people do what they want. That is first thing. Second thing is for having a more confident approach towards yourself, to look at yourself as someone who is capable of doing the things that you want, who is capable of attracting the things that you want, who is capable of having the things that you want. That is why self-concept is so important. You always are perceived by people the way you look at yourself. If you constantly tell yourself that you are ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly, you are repeating that as an affirmation. And guess what we have learned from my previous videos? What you affirm comes true, because that's how the law of assumption works. What you assume is true. How you assume it? By affirming something. What is affirmation? By stating something, right? Repeating a sentence again and again, or repeating a bunch of sentences again and again, is just repeating thoughts in your head and having that thought process eventually. So if you constantly tell yourself that you are someone who is very ugly, someone who is never lucky in love, someone who can never save money, then that is your thought process and that is your concept about yourself. That is why affirmations are very necessary in developing a concrete self-concept. So, I want you to talk to yourself the way you would talk to a friend. If you're a good friend, you're constantly motivating your friend during their times of self-doubts, right? So when I am like, oh God, I can't do this, even like everyone has their human moments, right? So I'm like, I can't do this, I can't do this. But then my friends are like, oh, you can absolutely do this. When I have problems in my love life and if I tell them, oh God, what if it just, happens like this? What if they're like, no, talk to him or maybe think differently about this thing. Just because it's happening to other people doesn't mean that it will happen to you. If you can tell that to your friend, why can't you tell it to yourself? So that is why self-concept is very important, and it becomes only better when you do the positive self-talk, when you talk to yourself more kindly, when you stop calling yourself an idiot every time you make a mistake. Don't do that. Would you call your friend an idiot if they did something very silly? No, right? That is why we are such good friends to others but not to ourselves. So now that was one thing. Second thing is, sometimes you can have a very strong self-concept. Sometimes you can be very confident in life and you are like, oh, I can get this job, I can get this dude, I can get this car, that confidence you have. But you can't keep what you get. So the moment it gets like too overwhelming, so you have that confidence that you are pretty, maybe you have pretty privilege and you're like, yeah, it's very easy for me to get a guy or to get a girl, to get a person, whatever. And then you are like, the moment things get a little difficult, or the moment things get a little serious, you're like, oh, I'm shooting bricks now. Then that's your self-concept. Then there you are not doing the intimacy heart work. So that is why self-concept is not just something that you have over the years, and it's not an overall assumption about yourself, but the work that you keep on doing on an everyday basis. So if today things get a little serious with someone you like, and if you chicken out, then that's just your concept about yourself, that you identify as someone who is not ready when things get serious. That's again self-concept. Or maybe I've often heard girls say things like, oh, I think I'm only about the chasing. Why do you think like that? Stop thinking like that, because what happens is, from affirmations and from the law of assumption, we have understood whatever you keep on repeating in your head gets true. So even maybe things are fine, you're trying to look for something that might just look like a serious problem, because you want to prove your negative assumptions right all the time. Don't do that. That does not help you. That only leads you to closing your heart to future possibilities, and also your mind to further perspectives. Okay? So self-concept is not just something that you have built over the years, but also something that you keep on doing on a regular basis. The other day I was talking to a friend, and she was like, whenever I talk in public, or I'm sitting in a group and chilling with my friends, I feel like whenever I talk, I appear stupid. And I'm like, no, I don't find you stupid. If you are finding yourself stupid with a certain group of people, then either you're hanging out with the wrong kind of people, or secondly, you are thinking that you are not good enough to talk in public. That is again your self-concept. Has anyone told you that? She said no. Are these people rude to you? She said no. I was like, then that is something that you need to work on. So would you tell me that if I came to you and told you that, hey, I appear so stupid when I speak in public, you'd be like, no, Olivia, you're so cool. Say that to yourself. And that is why self-concept is so important. When your concept about yourself improves, then what happens? You obviously become more confident, and confidence is so cool that it actually makes you a very secured person. You actually get very detached from your outcomes. So even if things are not going the way you want, not going under your favor, then you develop a thick skin towards it. You become just more resilient, and you are like, okay, the bank account is not showing me the number that I want to see now. Guess what? It's not constant. It's going to change. That just happens because you already identify yourself as someone who saves money, who makes money, who always attracts money. So that is why self-concept is not only important in having a positive mindset, but also in getting what you want, in changing your overall assumptions. So when you're talking to someone and you really like that person, and that person is not, replying to your texts immediately, or, behaving like a jerk, whatever, you are like, either you will be like, oh, okay, that person might be busy. It's not like they don't like me. So initially what would be like, maybe something is wrong with me. That is why it's taking them so long to get back to, my texts or to respond to my calls. That changes to, oh, okay, they might be busy. They might be, doing something else. You stop thinking that you're not a priority. Or maybe you're so confident, you're so detached, and you're so secure in yourself, and you always believe that you deserve better. You're like, you know what? Let them just go. I will talk to someone who gives me the time and who replies faster than this guy and just behaves with me the way I behave with them. So that just makes everything so easy when you have a very confident self-concept, and it is a constant work. It requires everyday discipline, focus, consistency, and persistence. Self-concept can be really subtle. Sometimes what happens, you are in a perfect relationship and you think that it's perfect, but then you end up in a third party situation. Or maybe your job is going like really well, your work life is really balanced, and you think that, oh, this is the company and all of that. But all of a sudden you're fired. Now, to make things very simple, first, you're not responsible for other people's shitty behavior. Second, sometimes overall assumptions about ourselves and moments of spiraling and meltdown can put ourselves in such a position where we constantly doubt ourselves and let it fester, and that develops an assumption. So, for example, if you think that your long term relationship is going very smooth, but there are moments when you think like, oh, I'm not good enough for him, I'm not good enough for him, or what if he's like, cheating or stuff like that. When you're thinking stuff like that in the back of your mind, or maybe you think things like, maybe you've never thought about cheating. You're just thinking, I'm not good enough for him, or maybe there is something better out there. Whatever. Anything that is contradictory to your current reality or what you want, that often leads to a third party situation. Or maybe for the job example, you are like, somewhere or the other you have thought, oh, what if a better employee comes and just steals my thunder? Or what if my skills just get outdated after a point of time? Or what if I don't upskill myself enough and I am just fired from this company? And that just leads you to getting fired. So we often say that I did not see it coming, bro. I didn't see it coming. But this is how it comes, and when it comes, it appears as a shock. So later, when you do the 2 + 2 = 4, you understand, okay, maybe that is why this happened, because I was letting these thoughts fester, and now it's just an assumption, and from an assumption it led to an expectation, and all of that. So today's video is long, and I'm going to stop right here, and there is so much to talk about it. But yeah, that's all for today. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and like and subscribe to my channel and share it to friends and family. And yeah, take care. See you again.